Hey, Algebra 2, hope that you guys enjoyed my first video of the week here, coming to you live with the second video on log properties. So last video was on exponents and rationalizing those exponents, and we're actually going to use some of those skills today in terms of log properties. But log properties and exponent rules actually look very similar. So let's look at our log properties. There's 4 log properties. There's log base b to the m times x. Well, that actually splits up to log base b m and log base b x with addition. So if you're multiplying, you can expand it to addition. If you're dividing, you can expand it to subtraction. If you are taking a log base b m to a power, so m to the x, that actually comes out front and becomes multiplication. Okay, we're not going to talk about division in this video, but remember our conversion. So if I have log base b m equals x, well, that's b to the x equals m. So if we go over here, can you come closer though, please? Okay, I just want to make sure they can hear me.
I'm zoomed in.
Okay. So I have log base by equals x. So remember, that's just b to the x equals y. That's our conversion. We learned that last week. This is why logs are helpful, because they're the inverses of our exponents, which we've been dealing with. So our first 2 examples are ones that you're going to have to do, which is just like simple. Let's expand this, okay? And these would just say expand. So I'm going to look over here. I have a division, which means I'm going to expand to my subtraction here. So this actually turns into log base 6x minus log base 6y. And that is all you have to do for that expansion. Okay, so you're just using these log properties. If you see division, it's going to be subtraction. Here, I see log base 6 x to the 5th, so that's something to a power. Okay, this actually comes out front, and this becomes multiplication. So log base 6 x, 5 times log base 6 x. Okay, and that's how that reads. Those are your first few, is just simply looking at this and trying to expand it. Real simple. Use your properties, expand it. Now, when you expand, you can also have a combination of different explanations or expansions that you're going to do. So here, I have one with numbers. So let's do this. Log base 5 to the 4th, times 2 to the 6th. Okay, there's lots going on. I see some multiplication, so I know I'm going to expand to some addition. I also see something to a power, 5 to the 4 and 2 to the 6, so I know there's going to be some multiplication in there. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is split these up, because that multiplication, I'm going to split these up to addition. So log base 5 to the 4th, plus log base 5, 2 to the 6th. Okay, so I split those up from multiplication to addition using our log properties. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I see this to a power and this to a power. Well, to a power is multiplication, so I'm going to move those out front. Okay, so I have 4 log base 5 multiplying plus 6 multiply log base 5 2. Final answer right here. This is just expanding. Okay, so you're just going from expansion. All right, and we go like that. I got one more example of expanding, and then we'll do some contracting. Once again, I hope you guys are taking notes on this stuff. Okay, and copying down my notes that I post on Thursdays. Okay, here's another one. I have log base 2 x squared y cubed squared. Woo! Kind of a lot going on here. Well, first, if you remember from our exponent video, we can distribute this in to our powers and multiply. Okay, so I'm going to do that first. So this becomes log base 2. Well, that would be x. 2 times 2 is x to the 4th. And y cubed times 2 is y to the 6th. Okay, now I got rid of that power on the outside, and I can go ahead and split this up. So this is division, which means it's going to become subtraction. So I have log base 2 x to the 4th minus log base 2 y to the 6th. Now I still have these powers to deal with, so that becomes multiplication. I'm going to move those out front, and my final answer is going to be 4 times log base 2x minus 6 times log base 2y. Final answer right there. So going back to it first, we distributed this power using exponent properties. So I had to multiply. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. Then I used my log properties. So I had to subtract because this is division, log properties. Division turns into subtraction to split it up. And then finally I use multiplication because it's something to a power. Okay, cool. That's how you expand. Use log properties to expand. What if I have a big long equation and I need to contract or shrink it down? So to go opposite from something like this all the way back to something like that. All right, cool. Let's do some examples with that. Once again, you can move at these at your own pace. I appreciate my wife zooming back in on the log properties while I set up the next equation. So this one is log base 5, 4 to the x plus log base 5, 5. Okay. Here. You want me to move on this side? Okay, so here I need to use my log properties to shrink it back down. Okay, so I see this addition sign right there, which tells me that I'm going to be multiplying these. Remember, you can only do this if your bases and your logs are the same. With all of our equations, they will be the same. So I have log base 5, 4x times 5. Well, 4x times 5 is going to be log base 5, 20x. Okay, that's your final answer. Pretty straightforward. Let's get one that maybe has a couple more steps in it. Okay. What if I did 2 times log 2x plus, or we'll go minus log base 2y. Okay, here I see multiplication. So this has to go back up into a power. So I go log base 2x squared minus log base 2y. Okay, that's step 1. You're moving backwards. All right, now I see a subtraction. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use division. So I'm dividing x squared and y. So your final answer will be log base 2 x squared over y. If this looks super confusing to you guys, because I can just imagine like, oh my gosh, this is like so much, I don't know what's going on. All I'm doing is looking at my problem, looking at the log properties, and seeing what kind of matches. Here is x is on the outside of parentheses. Here 2 is on the outside of parentheses. So x has to go up to a power, okay? These are interchangeable. If I want to move it that way, I can move it that way. If I want to move it that way, I can move it that way. Next, I see subtraction. Well, the only subtraction I see up here turns things into division. So I go from subtraction to division. So you're going to be working on this worksheet with expanding, and it'll say expand, and it'll also say simplify. This is simplifying. Complicated, simple. Now, expanding would be taking something simple and making it complicated, because that's how math works. We like to take things that are really simple, like 2 plus 2, and then we throw the alphabet in there, and then we spin you around like a tornado 1,000 times, and we say, what's the answer? And everyone looks at us like, yeah, welcome to math. Very confusing, but don't worry, I'm here to help. Okay, last one is going to be evaluating. So let's talk about evaluating. We're gonna go back to a simple example here. Evaluating is actually super cool. And it's why we like this whole log properties thing. So I'm gonna go back to this. Log base 5, 4x plus log base 5, 5 equals 1. Okay, now we have this equal sign in there. Okay, here's the cool thing. I'm gonna remind you. Log base b, y equals x, that converts to b to the x equals y. All right. So first I need to contract this. I need to simplify it. So I see my addition, log base 5, 4x times 5, because addition is multiplication, equals 1. So now I have log base 5, 20x equals 1. Cool. Now here's where this guy comes in. So I'm going to convert my base. My b is 5, my x is 1, and my y is 20x. And we can solve for x now. So I convert it to this. B becomes, okay, so I have 5. X is 1, so that becomes 5 to the first power, and that should equal my y, which is 20x. 5 to the first power is just 5. There's 1 5. So I have 5 equals 20x. Okay, divide by 20, divide by 20. X equals 1/4. Cool, this is why we like log properties. Because if you were to look at this and say at the beginning and say, what's x? I bet you probably wouldn't come up with 1/4. Okay, but through this process of contracting, we can get to something like this, and this we can convert to that. Over here we go bang, and then once we converted to this type of situation, we're good to go. We can solve. I'm gonna do one last one of those. All right, one last one of those. I'm gonna leave this guy up there for reference. Okay. Here's something that you'll see. So I have log base 2, parentheses, x minus 5, minus log base 2, 7. Okay, I want to talk about there's a difference here between this minus and this minus. You notice that this minus here, this groups all of that together. These both have logs telling me that they're split. So if you see parentheses like this, they're all together. For it to be split up into division, each one of these has to have a log. So this has a log altogether, and this has a log. This 5 doesn't have a log, Okay, so these are together. All right, here we go. So I see a subtraction, which tells me it's going to be, this whole thing equals 3. This is subtraction. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my division. So I have log base 2 x minus 5 all over 7 equals 3. All right, from here, I have it in this form. This whole thing, right here is my y. This guy is my x. And this guy is my b. So I'm gonna get 2 cubed equals x minus 5 all over 7. We can solve this. 2 cubed is just 8. So I'm actually going to rewrite this as 8 equals x minus 5 all over 7. Well, I'm dividing by 7. Opposite of division is multiplication. 8 times 7, 56. Got to get x by itself, add 5, 61 equals x. So those are like the hardest examples you will have, and so you'll have to evaluate those. I would encourage you guys to watch this video a couple times. I know it's maybe a little bit longer, but it is a trade-off. You're used to seeing me an hour a day for 5 days a week, so 2 20-minute videos. Or 15-minute videos watched twice, that's 30 minutes worth of video, okay, and taking some notes on it and watching it carefully, and then go ahead and try the worksheet. Once again, my Zoom office hours are Fridays from 12:30 to 2, okay? I had lots of people on last week. Feel free to hop on and answer questions live. Also, we do have a quiz this week. It will be posted Thursday, and make sure that you do that before Monday. Miss you guys. Hope you guys are staying safe. Have a great day.